I'm just waiting for them to finish. They have to use a hoist now since the stroke to get her in and out of bed safely. I can go back in when they're done. I'd love to have her at home and be a full-time carer, but it takes two, as well as that contraption, and I still work, so it's just not doable. Besides, they won't let me. My mother cared for my grandmother. She was there with her in the end in that old house in the Torres. 83 old Granny Watson was when she died. Well, good innings considering 6 kids, 2 world wars, a lifetime of grafting. First in the factory, and then after the kids, and then the grandkids, and then the great-grandkids. Always struggling, but always surviving. Tough as old boots. Lifelong labour. Though on polling day, she used to get the Tories to drive her to the polling station. They'd do that back then for the elderly, that were that desperate for votes. So she'd go in, vote Labour, and then make them drive her back. Not many working class lived to 83 in the 1970s. 83 was how old Mum was when she had the stroke. She was as fit as a fiddle before then. She didn't drink, never smoked, always ate her greens. Quite a healthy eater, really, except for the odd French fancy. And she used to walk everywhere. Loved going off on her long walks, striding ahead. I couldn't keep up as a child. And just like Granny Watson, she had an opinion on everything. Couldn't shut her up. Sometimes it just wasn't even worth trying to argue. Always great company, though. Talented pianist. Suggesting a tinkle on the piano sometimes was the best way to get off topic. I don't know how they got that piano into that back-to-back, but they did. Wherever she went, it went. Except here. She wouldn't be able to use it now anyway. They gave her 3 to 6 months after the stroke. It was that bad. Left her paralysed down one side and unable to speak. That was 7 years ago. 7 years of coming here daily to see her. Sometimes I have a day off, but I feel guilty if I do. And I think, what if the day I don't bother to visit her is the day she dies? And she's wondering where I am, if I'm coming. And I'm just sat at home watching a box set, having me time. When I could be here with her, watching Poirot on ITV3. My sister visits, but she lives in Bath. It's a long way to come. And there's her husband's job. The kids doing their exams now. I understand. And Michael, our brother, he lives in Canada. So he can only get over once a year. He Zooms though. I'm not sure she knows what's going on when we try that. I think she's just humouring us all. My kids do the bit when they visit. But they both live down south and they've got kids and jobs of their own to deal with. So that's the thing now. Everyone's spread out. I hardly see any of my family anymore. Neither does Mum. I'm all she really has now. When I was younger, we all lived round the corner from each other. All Mum's brothers and sisters, and all their families too. All visiting, all looking out for each other. Family nights out, down the social club. Family holidays to the caravan parks at Morecambe and Great Yarmouth. Granny's, as we called it, her small back-to-back in aerials. It was like the central hub for the whole family. Everyone congregated there, and it was always lively. And there was always fresh scones or rock cakes on the go. Mum was always baking for everyone. And she even grew rhubarb and strawberries in her tiny front garden. There was even a little pear tree there as well. Oh, she'd make the best rhubarb crumble. I never did get a recipe off her. I loved that tiny little house because it was a house filled with love. And now it's just me and her, here in Scarborough. That back-to-back's long gone. I believe it's been converted into some grubby flats now. Mum's brothers and sisters, they've all gone. We didn't even tell her about Maureen. The doctor said it were best not to upset her. I don't know if she wonders why Maureen doesn't visit anymore. The doctor says she hasn't much awareness of time anymore. She always knows when I'm late, though. I get the disapproving frown and the rolled eyes. I have to sneak her in a French fancy. They don't really allow it. They're watching her weight now she's not mobile anymore. But she's 90. So it's not like she's going to be running any marathons anytime soon. Oh, and the crap the serve her here. Nothing to look forward to. Half the time it's just left cold on the table beside her. They're meant to feed her. Oh, but often they're short-staffed, rushed, and just leave it there. And they'll leave it on a paralysed side too, so she can't pick up a spoon and feed it herself. And they'll leave a bloody alarm that side, so she can't call anyone. I mean, it depends who's on. Whether it's one of the regulars, who are all lovely, and they try the best. Or if it's one from the agency, who hasn't a clue. That's why I try and get here at meal times, just to make sure that she's not stuck on her own with nothing to eat. And what's wrong with one fucking French fancy? It's the highlight of her fucking miserable, confined, paralysed day stuck here. I don't know what I'll do when she's gone. I'll have no one here in Scarborough. Oh, except for a few friends from work and the church. But my family's all down south now. What'll happen if I have a stroke? Who's going to visit me? I'd rather die than end up stuck in one of these places. Sodding alarm going off somewhere all the time. People just doing the job. Your existence becomes their daily chore. It took some convincing to get Mum to move out here. She didn't want to leave Hare Hills. She'd lived there most of her life. Oh, but all the family had left, moved on. And I was here with John then, when the kids were still at school. Mum's never even been abroad. Trip to the Isle of Wight once is as far as she's ever been. But she loved it here at first. Said it were like being on holiday. She'd be off on the bus to Filey, pottering around. And we'd go down to the seafront here with the kids, sit in the cafes. She was in her element. Until the stroke. Happened overnight. Must have been as she were getting ready for bed. We didn't realise till early hours of the morning. She liked to stay up late and watch Newsnight. They have her tucked up in bed by 7 here. Talk to her like she's a moron.
She's ready for you now, love.
Thank you.